bit of a late start. I had to deal with an urgent matter. I believe we have quorum. I will now call the public hearing of September 28th, 2023 to order. This meeting is convened by electronic means. As such, council members may participate in person or by electronic means. For council members participating by electronic means, please ensure your video is turned on and let the clerk know if you leave the meeting for the purposes of confirming quorum. Council members are reminded that in accordance with section 14.13 of the procedure bylaw, members must enable their video to confirm quorum. If council members attending by electronic means lose connection during any portion of the hearing, we will recess the meeting until the connection is restored. If council members lose connection during the voting process, staff will get back online, to help you get back online while we suspend the voting process. The contact information has been circulated to you by email. Members of the public can view the proceedings via the live stream and YouTube link, which will be tweeted out by @Clerk. We acknowledge that we are on the unceded homelands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. We thank them for having cared for this land and look forward to working with them in partnership as we continue to build this great city together. In case of an emergency where we need to evacuate the building, I would like to direct your attention to the 2 exits. There are 2 exits beyond the glass doors and to the left. If these exits are obstructed, please direct your attention to the 4 exits in this chamber. Please use the stairs, do not use the elevator. I would also like to highlight that there is a defibrillator located at the end of the hallway outside of the council chamber. I also want to take a moment to recognize the immense contributions of the City of Vancouver staff who work hard every day to help make our city an incredible place to live, work, and play. Clerks, may we have the roll call, please?
Mayor Sim is on a leave of absence for personal business all day. Councillor Carr. Councillor Kirby Young is absent. Councillor Dominato as deputy mayor in the chair. Councillor Bly.
Present.
Councillor Boyle.
Present.
Councillor Fry.
Present.
Councillor Montague. Councillor Klassen.
Present.
Councillor Meisner. Councillor Joe.
Present.
You have quorum, Deputy Mayor Dominato.
Thank you, clerks. I will be away later this afternoon. In the absence of the mayor, acting mayor, and myself as deputy mayor, the first order of business as per section 4.1 of the procedure bylaw is to select a chair for the meeting from 4 p.m. onwards. Would a council member like to assume the chair's role for this meeting from 4 p.m. onwards? See Councillor Klassen. Thank you, Councillor Klassen. Is everyone in agreement with that? Do we have to vote on this, clerks? Are there any objections to Councillor Klassen taking that on? I see none. Fantastic. Thank you, Councillor Klassen. Before we begin the public hearing, I have some announcements. The public may participate by speaking in person, by phone, or by submitting written comments to Mayor and Council. Speakers will have 5 minutes to make their comments and should limit their comments to the merits of the report being considered. Speakers should also state whether they are in support or opposed to the recommendations and if they are a resident of Vancouver. Speakers may only speak once and should follow along on X @VanCityClerk for updates on the progress of the meeting so they don't miss their turn to speak. Any comments on agenda items can be submitted in writing through our online web form at Mayor and Council Public Hearing Feedback web form. This link will be shared online. Those speaking on behalf of 4 or more persons or groups, including the speaker, will have 8 minutes to speak, and only if those represented are also on the line or in person and must not be individual speakers themselves. I also want to note the City of Vancouver's long-standing commitment to equity, diversity, and inclusion, including utmost respect for all genders. I remind Council that when addressing speakers and staff, we will avoid using gendered honorifics and will instead refer to the person by first and last name, role, or title. A reminder that Council's role at a public hearing is to be a quasi-judicial body, which means Council is to only consider the merits of the rezoning application or heritage designation. Council members may ask clarifying questions from speakers, including the applicant, or technical advice from staff, but should save debate for after the close of the speakers list. After hearing from speakers, Council may 1. Approve the application in principle, 2. Refuse the application, or 3. Refer the application to staff for further consideration. We'll start with item 1, which is rezoning 2560-2580 Trafalgar Street. Does any member of council wish to declare a conflict of interest on item 1? Seeing none and hearing none, the clerk will now read the application and summary of correspondence received to date.
This is an application by Urban West Architecture to rezone 2560 to 2580 Trafalgar Street from residential district to residential rental district to permit the development of a 4-story market rental building. A height of 45 feet and a floor space ratio of 2 are proposed. The General Manager of Planning, Urban Design, and Sustainability recommends approval subject to conditions set out in the summary and recommendation. Following correspondence has been received since referral to the public hearing. 5 pieces of correspondence in support, 3 pieces of correspondence in opposition, and 1 piece of correspondence regarding other aspects related to the application. This represents all correspondence received up to 12 p.m. today.
Thank you, clerks. This is the first call for speakers. Any speakers for this item who wish to speak to council, please call toll-free 1-833-353-8610, followed by participant code 106-1445# before the close of the speakers list. The phone number will be shared on X, tweeted out, and made available on the live stream. There will be an opportunity for new speakers and missed speakers to be added to the end of the registered speakers list. We have staff from Planning, Urban Design, and Sustainability here to present the application. I understand you have a presentation, 12 slides. Is that correct? Councillor Carr? Move to waive. There's a motion to waive the presentation. Seconder? Seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And that motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, staff. Is the applicant team here to speak to the application? We do have the, okay, no presentation. Are there any questions from council to staff or the applicant team, noting this is the only opportunity for council to ask questions of the applicant? Seeing none, we'll now hear from the public. Do we have any registered speakers, clerks?
There are no registered speakers for this item.
Thank you. So are we doing a second call then, clerks? Okay, this is the second call for speakers. If there are any speakers for this item who wish to speak to council, please call toll-free 1-833-353-8610, followed by participant code 106-1445# before the close of the speakers list. The phone number will be tweeted out and made available on the live stream. Any speakers in the council chamber, please come forward to the podium before the close of the speaker list. Speakers will have 5 minutes to make their comments and should limit those comments to the merits of the report being considered. Any speakers, clerks? We have none in chambers.
We have no speakers on the line and no speakers in the chamber.
Clerk, do we have to pause for callers at this time? Okay, perfect. Do a third call now? Okay. Okay, we are going to do a third call. If there's any speakers for this item who wish to speak to council, once again, I'll share the number. It is 1-833-353-8610, followed by participant code 106-1445#. That's the number to call at this time if you're interested in speaking to this item. We'll recess for 5. Thank you, council. I think we have quorum again. Do we have any callers on the line, clerks?
We have no speakers on the line nor in the chamber.
Okay. In that case, I think I'm going to close the speakers list, correct? Okay. Okay. So we are going to close the speakers list since we have no additional speakers in chambers or on the line. So I am closing receipt of public comments. Does the applicant have any closing comments? Okay, seeing none. Do staff have any closing comments?
Staff would like to note that there is a yellow memo attached to this report. This memo amends the rainwater conditions in Appendix B of this report in order to reflect recently approved changes to streamline the rainwater management review and approval process. No action is required by council. Thank you.
We will have to move the yellow memo, though, with the report. Will we? Yes. No? Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Does council have any questions for staff? Seeing none. Okay. We will now have council will now make its decision on this application. I'd like to remind council that we will need to move the recommendation for item 1 together. Oh, it says with the yellow memo. Yeah? No? Okay. And this is for rezoning 2560-2580 Trafalgar Street. Thank you, Councillor Carr. Seconder? Sorry, I was going to call you Director Montague, Councillor Montague. Sorry, shifting from Metro Vancouver hat back to council. Is there any debate? Seeing none. Just a reminder to those of you online, please enable your video in order for voting. I'll now call the vote. Can you take us to the voting screen, clerks, please? Thank you.
Clerk, is Councillor Joe here? So I need a vote assist in favor, please.
Chair Dominato, this is Councillor Boyle. Can I get a vote assist in favor?
Yes. Thank you, Councillor Boyle, and thank you, Councillor Joe. I'll take a vote assist in favor as well, clerks. Thank you, clerks. I think we have all our votes recorded. And the rezoning passes with Councillor Kirby Young absent and Mayor Sim absent, both on civic business. Clerks, do I need anything further on that? Nope, we've got the votes displayed. Okay, thank you, Council. We're going to move on to item 2 of our agenda, rezoning for 6333-6369 Yukon Street. Does any member of council wish to declare a conflict of interest on item 2? Hearing and seeing none, the clerk will now read the application and a summary of correspondence received to date.
This is an application by B&H Architects to rezone 6333 to 6369 Yukon Street from residential district to residential district to allow for a townhouse or row house development with a maximum floor space ratio of 1.20. The General Manager of Planning, Urban Design, and Sustainability recommends approval subject to conditions set out in the summary and recommendations. Following correspondence has been received since referral to the public hearing. One piece of correspondence in support. This represents all correspondence received up to 12 p.m. today.
Thank you, clerks. This is the first call for speakers. Any speakers for this item who wish to speak to council, please call toll-free 1-833-353-8610, followed by participant code 106-1445# before the close of the speakers list. The phone number will be tweeted out and made available on the live stream. There will be an opportunity for new speakers and missed speakers to be added to the end of the registered speakers list today. We have staff from Planning, Urban Design, and Sustainability here to present the application. I understand they have 10 slides. Since there's no registered speakers, I can suggest that we waive the presentation. Moved, seconded? Seconded? Any debate? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. And that
Aye.
carries. Thank you. Is the applicant team here to speak to the application? No, not seeing. Are there any questions from council to staff? Okay, we'll now hear from the public. We have no registered speakers, so this is a second call for speakers. If there are any speakers for this item who wish to speak to council, please call toll-free 1-833-353-8610, followed by a participant code 106-1445 # before the close of the speakers list. Phone number will be shared online and made available on the live stream. Any speakers in the council chamber, please come forward to the podium before the close of the speakers list. Speakers will have 5 minutes to make their comments and should limit their comments to the merits of the report being considered.
Hello, yeah. My name is Peter Wang.
Wang?
I live on the house at the corner of 48th and the Yukon.
Well, go.
Yeah, on the south side of the properties, the three houses.
Okay, thank you.
So my
Peter.
question is that,
You have 5 minutes to speak.
yeah, the question is that, what is our position once the three houses, are built to townhouses? Because my houses will be isolated.
Are you asking a question of council? We are not here to answer questions. We're here to hear you speak. So if you want to present your considerations around the rezoning application, you have 5 minutes to do so.
I don't have any question on that. I just want to ask the question regarding my own property, because it's next door, right next door. And once the three townhouses, the three houses are built to townhouses, so what I can do? I mean,
so what I appreciate that. So what I will do is all of council's hearing that question right now. So one of my colleagues may be able to ask that question of staff in the context of when there's questions. But I do thank you for coming in and sharing that question and your considerations.
thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Clerks, do we have any speakers on the line right now?
No speakers on the line at this time.
Okay, I will do a third call for additional speakers. If there are any speakers for this item who wish to speak to council, please call toll-free 1-833-353-8610, followed by participant code 106-1445 # before the close of the speakers list. The phone number will be shared online and made available on the live stream. Any speakers in the council chamber, please come forward to the podium at this time. We'll now take again a 5-minute recess to see if we have any callers that join us. And so council, you have 5 minutes. Okay, Council. Clerks, do we have any speakers on the line?
No speakers on the line, and we have no speakers in the chamber.
Thank you. Seeing there's no additional speakers, the speakers list is now closed. And I'm closing receipt of public comments as well this time. Does the applicant have any closing comments? Seeing none, does staff have any closing comments?
I'd like to note that there is a yellow memo attached to this report. This memo amends the rainwater conditions in Appendix B of this report in order to reflect the changes to the Green Buildings Policy and the Vancouver Building Bylaw that Council approved on July 25th, 2023 to streamline the rainwater management requirements. No action is required by Council.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Council, do you have any questions of staff? Oh, thank you. Councillor Carr. You have the floor.
Thanks very much, Chair. Just a question and follow up to the speaker who came to the podium. Staff, there'll be this orphan lot, as I gather, next to the 3 lots that are being combined for this site. So what are the options for the development of that lot? I mean, maybe in consideration of our new missing middle housing, you could outline what those might be, but if there's any other options, I think I'd be interested in knowing what those are.
Let's wait for staff to advance.
Thank you for the question. Casey Peters, Assistant Director, Rezoning Center. There are a few options available. There's certainly under the new missing middle multiplex, there is redevelopment under that. As well, there is still options under the Canby Corridor RM rezonings. So they would need to come forward with an application as part of that.
Yeah.
To move forward with that option.
Yeah, can you just describe, so I don't know the size of the lot, but if it's a 50-foot lot, it's up to 6 dwelling units, and if you could just outline those,
I'm going to get Ryan Din from Development Planning to answer that question
you.
for you. Thanks.
With the recent approved multiplex program, the lot will be qualified for 6 strata units up to 1.0 FSR.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's it for my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Any further questions from council? Seeing, hearing none. Clerk, did we receive any additional comments since the close of public comments?
No public comments have been received.
Thank you. Council, we will now make our decision on this application. Again, this is application 6333-6369 Yukon Street. Do I have a mover for the recommendation? Councillor Meisner, seconded by Councillor Clausen. Any debate? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And reminder, sorry, to councillors online, please make sure your video is enabled. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, you got to vote in your...
Sorry, Chair. Is this a recorded vote?
It's a recorded vote. You're right, Councillor Bly.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Yeah. So recorded
Okay,
vote.
Chair,
I'll
this
take-
is Councillor Joe. I need a vote assist in favor, please.
Yes,
Thanks.
noted, Councillor Joe. I'll take a vote of assist in favor as well, clerks. And the rezoning passes with Councillor Kirby Young absent on civic business and Mayor Sim absent on personal business. Thank you, Council. We will now move to item number 3 on our agenda, CD1 818 text amendment 120 to 150 West Georgia Street, 720-770 BD Street, and 701 Expo Boulevard. Does any member of council wish to declare a conflict of interest on item 3? Just gonna pause for 30 seconds, council. Okay, hearing no declarations of conflict, just a reminder to those of you who are online that have your camera enabled when we do go to voting. Clerk will now read the application and summary of correspondence received to date.
This is an application by Creative Energy Vancouver Platforms Incorporated to amend CD1 district to include transportation and storage uses limited to bulk data storage and increase the permitted floor area from 61,602 square meters to 63,194 square meters. The General Manager of Planning, Urban Design, and Sustainability recommends approval subject to conditions as proposed for adoption by resolution of Council. No correspondence has been received since referral to the public hearing.
Thank you, clerks. This is the first call for speakers. Any speakers for this item who wish to speak to council, please call toll-free 1-833-353-8610, followed by participant code 1061445 pound before the close of the speakers list. The phone number will be shared online and made available on the live stream. There will be an opportunity for new speakers and missed speakers to be added to the end of the registered speakers list. We have staff from Planning, Urban Design, and Sustainability here to present the application. And we do have one registered speaker. Do we want to hear? So we'll hear the presentation. So go ahead, staff.
Great. Good afternoon. Just confirming you can see my screen and presentation.
Councilors online, can you see it? Yes, great. Give thumbs
Great.
up. Go ahead.
Thanks. Good afternoon. I'm Nick Danford, the rezoning planner for the application to amend CD1 818 to allow for bulk data storage uses on the site, as well as increase the permitted floor area to accommodate the expansion of an on-site community energy facility. So the subject site is located on the southeast corner at the intersection of West Georgia and Beatty Streets. The nearly 7,000 square meter site is located directly adjacent BC Place Stadium and the Georgia Viaduct eastbound ramp, and surrounded by namely entertainment, office, and some residential uses. The site is partially under construction and partially occupied by a two-story commercial and industrial building that houses the steam energy plant that was installed there in the 1960s. The steam plant, that's owned by Creative Energy Vancouver Platforms, provides heating to over 210 buildings within the downtown core. On site, there is a 11-meter or 36-foot drop in grade from the top of the escarpment on Beatty Street down to Expo Boulevard that runs along BC Place Stadium. The application was originally enabled under the rezoning policy for the CBD or Central Business District and the CBD shoulder that allow and the Metro Core Jobs and Economy Land Use Plan. Both of these policies allow for consideration of rezonings for non-residential uses within the downtown core. The CD1 was enacted in 2022, and it allows for a 17-story commercial office building that includes provision for a community energy center within it. The application before you today proposes two amendments. The first is to add bulk data storage as a permitted use. Bulk data storage is defined in the zoning development bylaw as a use of a wholly enclosed building for storage of information on operating data servers. This is a use that is conditionally permitted within the downtown official development plan where the site is located. And given the synergies between the energy produced of the equipment associated with the bulk data storage use and the energy facility at this location, we feel that it's appropriate synergies. The second amendment is to add nearly 1,600 square meters, or just over 17,000 square feet of floor area. The additional floor area is proposed to be located below Beatty Street grade and is intended for the expansion of the energy center. There's no changes to the approved form of development as a result of the increased floor area. An application sign was posted on the site and postcards were distributed to nearby properties. 6 pieces of correspondence were received through the application process. All were generally in support of the amendments, noting that the benefits of the expansion of the sustainable energy use is appreciated. Given the increase in floor area, this amendment is subject to a fixed CAC rate, resulting in a CAC payment of just over $295,000. That, along with the expected DCLs and public art payments, the total public benefit associated with this amendment is nearly $330,000. With that, council staff support the proposed amendments as they meet the intent of the enabling policies, and staff and the applicant are available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Is the applicant team here to speak to the application?
I believe they're online.
Online? Does the applicant wish to speak to the application? Okay, hearing nothing. Council, do you have questions to staff? I see Councillor Carr, followed by Councillor Claassen. Go ahead, Councillor Carr.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, I totally understand about the data storage. That seems to be distributed throughout the building. But the extra floor that's going to be below grade for the expansion of the actual facility, what is it exactly that's going to be in that floor? I don't have a picture or an image in my mind of what will be occupying that space.
Oh, there we go. So it's a bit of a funny site. There's BD Street, and then there's Expo Boulevard. So there's a big grade difference. And so right now, in that grade difference, there's parkade and parking like amenities like bike storage and end of trip facilities. And so the intent from the applicant is to put that floor area within that kind of gap, and they would need to excavate a little bit further down in order to accommodate that additional floor area.
But I understand that. I got the slope picture in my mind. But I'm sorry, I haven't seen the steam facility, so I have not in my head a picture of what is actually getting expanded down there in terms of, is it like more production of steam with mechanical equipment, or, yeah, what is it?
Probably the applicant would be in a good position to answer that question if they're available online.
Yeah, hi, if you can hear me, this is Kieran from Creative Energy. I think I can probably address Councillor Carr's question.
Kieran, can you just, it's Councillor Dominato, could you just speak up a little bit?
Yeah, I sure can. Is that better?
That's much better, thank you.
Okay, so, yeah, the addition, so there's the steam plant, and then we are under a separate project installing a low carbon plant as well, using electric boilers, which are going to be powered by hydroelectric power from BC Hydro to produce steam and displace the burning of natural gas, which is how we currently produce steam. And this, I think this additional space is for us to put in that equipment, this project was approved by the BC Utilities Commission subsequent to the original rezoning application. So it allows us to put in that additional equipment so that we can produce the low carbon steam, if that helps.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. That totally makes it understandable to me, and is moving, yeah, in the direction around lower GHGs. Great, thank you.
Thank you for the questions, Councillor Carr. Councillor Claassen.
Thank you, Chair. Just a question to staff. Is the development of this location have any wide-ranging implications for the Georgia Street plan, sort of post-viaduct?
So as part of the original rezoning, there were conditions that were associated with that the applicant's required to meet. This is the amendment just for that additional floor area. So they're still working through the development permit process, which there's conditions in there that are related to the Georgia Viaduct.
Mm-hmm. And do we have, and I know Councillor Carr was asking the same questions around the space itself. I know there's that kind of empty parking lot that's below the viaduct, I believe, and the slope area, and so in the entrance to the Costco that's right tucked in behind it. So all of that will not be impinged upon. It's actually the lot itself and that underground area might be being developed.
So the development is happening all within the site. So the site property line ends where the viaducts are currently.
Good stuff. I just have a question perhaps for the proponent regarding, do we have some sense with this data storage facility, what kind of employment we might be seeing at this site?
That's the applicant.
And that's, of course, perhaps types of jobs, but also number of employees that might be working at this new facility.
Okay. I'm just looking for the applicant to respond. That would be for you.
Hi, so this is Alex Gerner with West Bank as part of the application team. So we don't know specifically how many jobs, but we know that there would be a significant number of IT jobs that would become available directly from building the data storage, the data center, as well as we understand that the data center also enables the growth of the kind of broader IT and creative economy within the city of Vancouver. There's currently a large deficit of data storage infrastructure within the city, and a data center at this location would help to resolve that deficit.
Fantastic. And just perhaps an obvious question when you're dealing with this is there are going to be security implications given the storage of important user data there. So that site will probably be a fairly secure site.
Yeah, that's correct. And the way we're contemplating this right now is that there would be a completely separate lobby and entrance for the data center within the building. So that's currently accommodated for in the design and massing of the building.
Excellent. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Questions? Thank you. Okay, we'll now hear from the public. This is the second call for speakers. If there are any speakers for this item who wish to speak to council, please call toll-free 1-833-353-8610, followed by participant code 106-1445 # before the close of the speakers list. The phone number will be tweeted out and made available on the live stream. Any speakers in the council chamber, please come forward to the podium before the close of the speakers list. I do note we have one registered speaker. Is Valeria Pesce, I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly, here in person? You don't want to speak? Okay. I'll do a third call for additional speakers. If there are any speakers for this item, again, please call 1-833-353-8610, followed by participant code 106-1445 # before the close of the speakers list. Again, this information is available online and on the live stream. At this time, we'll recess for 5 minutes to wait and see if we have any callers or speakers. Thank you. Okay, council. I'll check in with the clerks to see if we have any speakers on the line.
We have no speakers on the line and no speakers in the chamber.
Thank you, clerks. Given there's no additional speakers, the speakers list is now closed. Seeing there are little or no comments received after 12 p.m., I'm now closing the receipt of public comments. Does the applicant have any closing comments on this item? Hearing none, do staff have any closing comments?
No closing comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, do you have any further questions of staff? Seeing none, I saw a mover, Councillor Carr, seconded, Councillor Montague. Any debate? Hearing none, I'll call the question, and this will be a recorded vote. So please vote online.
Chair, this is again Councillor Zhou. I need a vote in favor, assist in favor, please.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Zhou. That's noted.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll take a vote to assist in favor as well. Okay. And thank you, Council. This rezoning application passes with Councillor Kirby Young absent on civic business, Mayor Sim absent on personal business, and Councillor Meisner absent with civic business. Thank you very much. And I think that brings us to the end of our public hearing agenda for today. So could I get simply a motion to adjourn, moved by Councillor Clausen, seconded by Councillor Montague. All in favor? Aye.
Bye.
And that carries. Thank you. Thank you to our staff team. Thank you to the councillors joining us online. We'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Have a good rest of the day, everyone.